Hi, hello, today we're doing another Reddit story video. Now, this one may end up pissing people off, not because I did anything wrong, but because the stories I'm picking, the titles are crazy. I have not read them. I don't read these stories until I'm reading them on camera, so I don't know how these go. The first title, though, pisses me off. You'll know if you need to not listen to it by the title, because it's very blatantly in the title. I, 29 male, felt up my friend, 27 female, in my sleep. My wife, 28 female, won't talk to me. And it says, trigger warning, describes actions analogous to sexual assault. Okay, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm having sex with my wife. I don't remember the foreplay. I don't remember getting hard. I don't remember getting on top of her. But I wake up and I'm mid-thrust inside of her. She tells me that I'm the one who initiates it and that I get super sensual with my touching, but I have no memory of it ever happening until I wake up and I'm inside her. Ew. I looked at that. I went to look up to see, like, if there was an asshole verdict, but this is not asshole. This is best of Redditor updates. Cut to this weekend. I'm on a camping trip with some friends, 2 guys and a girl. My wife does not like the camping, so she did not go. The girl is a platonic friend. I can't stress that enough. I have zero attraction to her. We all shared a tent because that's what you do when you camp, and the sleeping arrangements was friend 1, friend 2, me, and Taylor, we'll call her. I have camped with them all on numerous occasions in the same sleeping arrangement, and nothing has ever happened before. We all had been drinking around the campfire and eventually went to bed. I woke up in the middle of the night with my sleeping bag unzipped, her hand on my crotch and mine on her ass as she was kissing my neck. I was instantly awake and recoiled, got out of the tent and sat by the fire for the rest of the night. The 2 guys were passed out drunk. They had more than Taylor, so they had no idea what had happened. Taylor came out and tried to talk to me. I was terrified and in shock. She told me that I had been rubbing up on her and making her feel good, and then she turned around and tried to reciprocate. I asked her why. She said she thought that's what I wanted. I didn't sleep that night and went home the next day and told my wife what happened. She blew up, accused me of cheating on her, and that she was leaving me. I've tried calling her the past few days, and she won't answer. She is staying with her sister. We haven't spoken since Saturday. She won't give me the time to explain what happened. What do I do? TLDR, I felt at my friend in my sleep, and my wife won't speak to me. Edit for clarity. Though we had been drinking, I was by no means drunk. This isn't a I blacked out and then came to while I was on top of her kind of thing. It was not a means to cheat on my wife with Taylor. I did not find Taylor attractive at all. We have camped together 20 plus times and this has never happened before. I honestly had no idea what was happening until I woke up. On the list of really dumb decisions, sleeping next to a female friend on a camping trip without your wife when you're a known sleep fucker ranks right up there. Seriously, dude, seriously, did your wife even know this female friend was going and that you'd be sharing a tent? OOP. Yes, she knew she would be there and thought nothing of it. This group has gone camping together 20 plus times over the years, slept in the same way, and nothing has ever happened because there is absolutely no attraction to Taylor. None at all. I don't find her physically attractive, and I look at her as a sister. I can't stress that enough. She does not appeal to me in the slightest. As for the sleep fucking, it had never been an issue before on these trips when more alcohol was involved, so the idea of it possibly happening has never crossed my mind. The sleep fucking itself hasn't happened in close to a year, so I figured I was past it. Deleted, said, bullshit, maybe you weren't into her, but she was definitely into you. She was awake, she knew what was happening, and reciprocated. So you can't pretend like there's no underlying danger in this camping trip. Obviously this woman has feelings for you if she was willing to help you cheat on your wife. She said she thought you wanted it. How exactly did she get that idea, You should not be spending time with Taylor ever again. That's step 1, and you need to make that clear to both her and your wife. Then flip the situation. Let's say your wife was a sleep fucker. She went on a camping trip, drank, and woke up finding herself astride a guy's dick. The guy was happily fucking her. What would you be thinking right now? OOP, the first thing I said to Taylor, what the fuck are you doing? After I woke up, I had no idea that she had any feelings toward me at all. After we talked for maybe a minute, I told her to leave me alone and she went back to the tent until the morning. I haven't spoken to her since. I will not be speaking to her again. That friendship is over. Yeah, no, the first comment hits the nail on the head with what I'm thinking. If you knowingly do this stuff, why are you sleeping next to, like, that friend? When there is 2 other people who could sleep in between you guys, why is it... when the other 2 guys, to our knowledge, are not sleep fuckers, why are just why would you freaking put yourself in a situation where things could go bad? I mean, honestly though, if he had done something like that to a male colleague, it may have ended worse, because depending on the men's sexualities, masculinity, etc. If he knows that he does this when he's asleep, he should not put himself next to a girl. I mean, maybe he should even sleep in his own fucking tent. Sleep fucker in his own fucking tent. I feel suspicious that she thought he wanted it and she continued to assist him even though he was asleep. I will say this is better than what I assumed the case was. I thought that he was like touching her and it was like she didn't reciprocate. I was afraid that was the situation we were walking into. We have to go to the update. You see, the update actually looks kind of nice with this t-shirt. Maybe, a little bit? Okay. Update October 9th, 2014, 2 days later. Before I get into the update, there are some things I want to say. For those of you who accuse me of cheating on my wife deliberately and attempting to... I need to cut that out. Taylor, you guys are just dicks. I did not grope Taylor on purpose, and I did not know that it would happen. I was not aware of what was going on, and I had no control over what I was doing at that point in time. I would never grope or touch anyone without their consent. I don't think you understand how terrifying it is to wake up with someone who isn't your wife grabbing your crotch and having no idea what's going on. Couple that fear with confusion and immense guilt I had because I was the one who apparently initiated it. It made me want to fucking die. So thanks for that, people. I really appreciate it. To those who actually had helpful advice and actually tried to put themselves in my shoes, thank you very much. Here's the update. I spoke with my doctor, and he said it sounds like I do have sexsomnia, but he's not too familiar with it. As far as he knows, there's no real cure, and there isn't really treatment for it. But he said he was going to refer me to a psychiatrist, psychologist, and they would help me. He told me that he might try me on some antidepressants to attempt to curb it from happening again. I found a blog about sexsomnia, and that actually really helped me better understand what I have and how to deal with it. The guy does a really good job of explaining the guilt and all the emotions I felt after all of this happened. I managed to talk to my wife, and things are good now. She wasn't contacting me because she needed time to herself and space to sort it out in her head. She didn't want to say anything else that she would regret later, and she felt bad for her initial reaction. She knows me, she trusts me, and we have a great relationship. This is the first hiccup I can ever remember us having in the last 9+ years we've been together. After I told her what happened, she went to the darkest possible timeline and thought the worst. I can't blame her for her initial reaction because one of the biggest deal breakers for either of us is infidelity. She came home the night I posted the original thread, and I apologized up and down for putting myself in that spot to begin with. But she actually put me at ease and said she didn't blame me for it because she too never thought my sleep sexing would be an issue. She read up on sexsomnia while at her sister's and realized I wasn't trying to cheat on her. I was not controlling my body at the time. I stopped the moment I became lucid, and I immediately let her know what happened. The biggest problem from this whole thing is the fact that we never took my sexsomnia as something that was serious. When it would happen, we just assumed it was because of a sexy dream I was having and thought of the whole thing as something quirky that I did every once in a while, not an actual sleep disorder that could have serious risks associated with it. So for those who said I was a known sleep fucker, well, no, it wasn't known. We just thought it was something weird I did every once in a while. You still kind of know. You're saying that it's something you did every once in a while, so you guys have acknowledged that it happened. Tell me I'm making excuses all you want. Tell me I'm a piece of shit for putting people at risk. Tell me I'm deflecting blame. I really don't care. It's like having diabetes without knowing it and then getting sick when you eat a candy bar. That's not what... I literally went years without knowing I had diabetes. This is not... Sorry, I don't want to be against this guy. I'm not even finished with the story, but, like, comparing it to diabetes is kind of stupid, in my opinion. I didn't know I had diabetes, and the thing is, if you have diabetes and you eat a candy bar and your blood sugar goes up, that's only affecting you, okay? Like, that is... If I have too much sugar, my blood sugar goes up, blah, 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 blah. The only person that is affecting is me. I'm not outwardly, like, affecting anybody else with my diabetes. But whatever. Yeah, hindsight shows that there's an issue when you were peeing all the time, you were losing weight, and you were constantly tired. But if you aren't aware of diabetes, you don't actively think you have diabetes. My wife and I were both ignorant of the entire condition. The idea that I could do it to someone other than my wife had never even crossed our minds because it happened so rarely. We didn't know it was anything legitimate. If either one of us had believed that it was an actual risk, I would have not been in tent with anyone. Now we obviously know better. Live and learn. One of the biggest reasons I got shit in the last thread was because I had the audacity to sleep in a tent with a woman. My wife knew of the sleeping arrangements and was completely fine with it. Like I said in the last thread, we had camped out that way many times and it had never been an issue before this past weekend. However, there was a separate incident on another camping trip that I was not previously aware of. It turns out I had apparently started caressing one of my buddies on an earlier camping trip, and he didn't tell me. He told me that when I did it, he elbowed me in the gut, and then I rolled over and went to sleep. As I said, yeah, will it happen to the guy friend? I had no idea that it happened, and he never mentioned it before because he thought I was just trying to fuck with him. So it seems like my sexsomnia doesn't discriminate. For those who said I was stupid for sleeping next to a woman, that is not the case. I was stupid for sleeping next to anyone who is not my wife. I will never put myself in that situation again. As for Taylor, I got a conversation going with her on Facebook. In it, I apologized for the incident and went into some detail about why it happened. She said that she was already aware of the fact that I do stuff in my sleep because my wife had made jokes about it in the past. While I did apologize, I still told her in the way she handled it was inappropriate and that I will be no longer camping with her or associating with her. I asked her if she had feelings for me and she said that she didn't think so, but she got lost in the moment. She took responsibility for her actions and admitted what she did was wrong. She was very understanding of the whole thing. And was very remorseful and agreed it was best to stay away. As far as friend breakups go, it was very mutual and mature. We both owned up to our mistakes and we are no longer associating with one another. It's for the best. My wife eventually read the conversation and it reinforced my version of the story and the series of events that I described to her. So that made her happy and reinforced that I wasn't lying. It sucks because she's one of our best friends, but anyone who's willing to cheat with me does not need to be in our lives. Some might say that it's not fair to her, and that if I hadn't attempted to sleep sex her, then everything would be fine. I disagree. She was willing to go through with it when I was willing to go through with it. She obviously was feeling something I was not, and I don't need to associate with that. If I have learned anything from this incident, it is that I can't be surprised if a bomb goes off while I'm holding a flame to a fuse. Removing myself from her life is the best course of action for all parties involved. Taylor isn't my wife, and she is not my priority. So all in all, things are alright. I'm trying to move forward, as is my wife. Things are looking up. We haven't scheduled couples counseling or anything yet, but I have suggested it, and I am a willing participant if my wife wants to consider it down the road. She seems to already be pretty forgiving, so I think we're good. I'm seeing the psychologist next week, so for those who actually helped me and gave me constructive advice instead of attacking me, thank you. TLDR, it was dumb to neglect my sleeping issues, and we can all agree on that. Things are going well with the wife and looking good. Taylor is no longer around, nor will she be in the future. The fact that, it's all kind of falling on Taylor, it gives me really bad vibes. I don't know if it's just me or not, but I don't like how it all falls on the girl. Relevant comments. Commenter, it turns out that I had, quoting the thing, it turns out I apparently started caressing one of my buddies in an earlier camping trip, blah, blah, blah. And they comment, oh goodness, I questioned this on your last post and was downvoted for some reason. I figured if you're a sexsomnia, laying next to anyone could be a problem, not just women, so glad this all worked out. I thought you got a lot of unnecessary heat in your last post. I'm glad that this has been resolved and you guys are moving forward. OOP says, yeah, he told me that originally he thought I was trying to make it seemed like a spider or rat or something was crawling up his back. He flinched, and when he saw it was just me, elbowed me and turned over. Apparently that's how it starts with my wife and how it started with Taylor too. I start lightly running my hand up her back like I'm teasing her, and then I start rubbing, and it eventually leads to more direct petting, squeezing. Apparently my sleep foreplay is on point. The commenter goes, that's much nicer than what I do with my partner. I treat him like a horse. I'm not joking. I will cluck whilst trying to move him around the bed, wrap my legs around him and squeeze him to get him into a trot, ride him at the I once even bit him hard because I read at some silly forum that maybe you should bite a horse back to get it to stop biting. My husband would swap for your type of sleep disturbance in a hoofbeat. That's weird, but okay. I just don't like that it's all falling on the girl. It gives me a little bit of bad vibes, but oh well. I'm happy that this guy and his wife are working through it, and I hope he never sleeps next to anyone who's not his wife again. Let's go to another story. Am I the asshole for not telling my fiance that my late partner was a man? August 15th, 2024. I, 29 male, lost my fiance 4 years ago in a car accident. He and I were both 25 at the time and had been together since we were 19. If soulmates were real, he was mine. He was stubborn, he preferred a way earlier bedtime than I did, and was a major homebody, and I loved all of it. He would stay up with me until he was sure I fell asleep, and weekly movie theater outings became a thing like a month into us meeting. I am a fundamentally different person, both because I met him and because of my grief. I was shown what real love and effort and care felt like. I also don't talk about him. I go to therapy once a week, otherwise it's silence on that topic for me. He lives on in me in the ways I try to emulate him. I practice the patience he had that I always struggle to find. I go after career-related opportunities that scare me because I know he would encourage me to do so. Sometimes I let myself stay in bed because I know he'd be gentle with me and let me do that too. But I don't talk about him, and I probably never will. I'll make the occasional, "Oh, X would have loved this" comment when I'm with friends who knew him well. With strangers, nothing. My friends and family respect that as well. I'm engaged again. My fiance, 31 female, obviously knows I was engaged before. I pretty much told her my last partner passed away, and I don't talk about it. I don't use social media in really any capacity anymore, but she happened to stumble upon an old Instagram profile of mine recently and saw him heavily featured. This led to her accusing me of purposely keeping it from her. I didn't really see why his gender matters, and I told her so. She said I've broken her trust. Times like these are when I long for the life I was living before, but grief fucked up my brain, so I'm not sure if I'm being insensitive. Edit, she knew I am bisexual. The only thing she didn't know is that my fiance was a man. Sorry, the first comment, relevant comments. You kept the fact that he was a man a secret because you knew it would be an issue. You're the asshole. OOP. I live in a very liberal area, and I've never heard my fiance express any bigoted views. I wouldn't be in this relationship if I had. I wrongly assumed that it was a complete non-issue. Edit, she knows I'm bisexual and is known for our entire relationship. No, I'm sorry, the comments are pissing me off. Someone goes, even worse, so if your partner would not be okay with you being bisexual, then you'd qualify her as bigoted? You're full of yourself, get help, and if you care about her, get away and don't hurt her more. OP, she was okay with me being bisexual. The only thing she wasn't aware of was my late fiance was a man. But to answer your question, yes, I do think not dating someone simply on the grounds of their orientation is bigoted. But it does usually save me trouble when dating because it helps weed people out. The STD argument lets me know that you're ignorant, and the now I have to worry about girls and guys shows insecurity or some kind of inherent lack of trust. Someone says, oof, some of these comments are rough. Here's my perspective as a widow. You need to talk to your therapist about this, not Reddit. Most people have no idea what it's like to lose so much and just how much that loss shapes you. But also it's concerning to me that he sounds like such a big part of your internal life, but you've never even mentioned him to your current partner. Before you get married, you need to dig into why you've compartmentalized this to such an intense degree. Why are you hiding him? What are you afraid of? If I'm being generous, I think seeing your late fiance was a man shocked your fiance into realizing she knows absolutely nothing about this major part of you. OOP, I really appreciate your comment, thank you, it's very thoughtful. I don't think there's anything I'm necessarily scared of, but I am very protective of his memory. Sharing him with someone he didn't choose to share his story with kind of freaks me out in a way. I don't know, I'm aware it's irrational. Then there's the risk that the new partner would get tired of hearing about him or otherwise insecure about it, and that makes me really uncomfortable to think about too. So I guess I'll keep him safe in me and my mind, and it protects me too. On if the fiance was having an issue with previous partner's gender. OOP, because the gender issue is all she has fixated on, at least during our conversation. Also, it makes me uncomfortable to be with someone who is okay with my bisexuality in theory, but not in practice. If the thought of me having sex or being romantic with a man in the past makes the other person insecure, I'm not really down for that. I come out to any potential romantic partners early on, so I thought I had already done my due diligence in that regard. I probably should have been more open, but I didn't anticipate that I needed to have a second coming out where I admit that me saying I'm bisexual actually means I'm bisexual, like not in the just I like kissing dudes in bars kind of way, but in the romantic morning sex 6 years into a relationship way. So in regards to that post, the comments annoy me. I agree with OP that if you won't date someone because they're bisexual, you are bigoted. I feel the same way about transness. If you won't date someone who is your sexual preference, like a male or female, you know, if you won't date someone who's trans because they are trans, I think that's bigoted. And I mean that in a sense where it's like, if you are not dating them specifically because they are trans, you're a bigot. But caveat to that, if you are not dating someone because they can't have children, because what body parts they have or something you're not attracted to, etc., etc. Like, there's reasons that trans people fit into, and if it's because of one of those reasons, you are not being transphobic. But if it's if it's just because they are trans, like, you don't know what genitals trans people have. Even like a trans man like me, I could have a dick, I could have a vagina. We never, you know, you won't know that. You won't know that until it's like necessary for you to know that. And by you, I mean like a potential romantic partner, not you like watching this. You are never gonna know that. I think it's really based on the reason that you won't date someone. And now it's time for the update. I hope there's only one, because I don't want to read too much more. Update, August 17th, 2024, 2 days later. I figured I would go ahead and post an update before I return to my all-lurk, no-post comment Reddit life. Yesterday I had an emergency therapy session because I was spiraling and I didn't feel prepared to tackle the upcoming conversation with my fiance without one. It was hard but necessary, as I was finally honest about just how much I am compartmentalizing my grief. It laid the foundation for where I'd like to go moving forward. Now I have to put in the legwork. The few hours between my therapy appointment and my fiance getting off work was evidence of just how avoidant I've become. It was a conversation we needed, but definitely not one I wanted. When we finally sat down to talk, I asked her to start us off by telling me exactly what was bothering her about the whole situation. She said because I had come out to her in a casual way, the way I come out to anyone, by mentioning it early on when it seems natural to bring up, she didn't realize how serious I was, and it made her look at me differently. She apologized for that and suggested that if I told her more about him now, it might be an easier pill for her to swallow. I tried, but there was this knot in my stomach the entire time I tried to pick a place to start. And maybe this is me being cruel, not giving her benefit of the doubt, but it just didn't feel right. She hadn't come and said I was shocked because I realized how little I knew about this time of your life. Would you be open to talking about it with me? Instead, it felt like, tell me what you saw in him so I can attempt to rationalize your orientation. I told her I needed some time, so she went to stay elsewhere for the weekend. A long-time good friend of mine came over this morning. I think the combination of anonymously talking more openly about my partner here, as well as being more open with my therapist, helped remind me of how joyous and cathartic it can be. I don't know the exact catalyst, but I do know I spilled my guts. We talked for hours about things that I haven't told anyone in years. I expressed how nervous I was about possibly living alone again, and I was told that I didn't ever have to worry about that an SOS message would be all it took for me to have company if I needed it. Same goes for all my friends and family. I'm so lucky I have an incredible support system. 5 minutes into that hours-long conversation, I already knew. The trust, security, and love I felt made room for the newfound openness. The absence of any one of those marks in a relationship, DOA, I don't know what DOA means, is why I felt physically ill trying to share this memory with her. I truly wish her the best. I think going our separate ways will be good for both of us. We weren't getting what we needed from each other. She's supposed to be coming back tomorrow, so we'll have to talk then. I have lots of work to do, but for tonight, I get to be reminded of what safety feels like. Edit, please see this comment where I elaborate on the conversation she and I had. There seems to be this misunderstanding where I blame her for everything because she didn't perfectly respond to the situation. Two things can be true. I wasn't open. I'm largely accountable for the problems in this relationship, and I never should have entered it if I wasn't ready. She also said ignorant things. I'm not happy about it, and it's certainly not the sole reason we're breaking up. It's just another reason on the pile of reasons why this isn't sustainable. Me still not feeling comfortable enough to share with her doesn't equal me blaming her for everything, or even the majority of things. It was just the final nail in the coffin between maybe we can work this out with a lot of effort and this needs to end now. So this is the comment he linked. The commenter said, you're human and you're grieving. You made mistakes, you're admitting to them, you're working through stuff. Just wanted to encourage you not to get too caught up in everyone here piling on. I get your concerns about possible biphobia too. None of us were there in that conversation, and our opinions don't matter anyways because we're not in your relationship. Go in peace. Best wishes for your continued healing and personal growth. OOP, thank you sincerely. It can be easy to get so focused on what people are getting wrong that I get stuck doom scrolling, haha. The conversation I had with her left me sick to my stomach and uncomfortable. I'm definitely not excusing the choices I made. This could have been rectified much earlier if I had just been open, but it seems like everyone here is just brushing off my experience of the discussion we had, one where I specifically opened the floor to explain why she freaked out so much about his gender. Her answers didn't strike me as something that would lead to either of us being happy long term. And yeah, my nose has been in my phone long enough. Time to turn it off for the night and enjoy the real world. I appreciate you and your understanding. Someone says, you said you were extremely nervous before the conversation. Is it possible that you had predetermined that it would go badly and made a self-fulfilling prophecy out of your anxieties? Were your uncomfortable feelings caused by something concretely biphobic that she has actually said, or by your own nerves, which caused you to interpret anything she said in the worst light possible? Did you communicate this discomfort to her? Did you ask her how she was feeling? Is it possible your feelings could be the result of a clash between your avoidant nature and being forced to confront the problem, and her not having the perfect answers validated your feelings and desire to run again? Grief sucks and it can warp our perspective of everyone else in our lives, including ourselves. I hope you have a good therapist and are committed to honesty and working on yourself. OOP quotes the comment above and then says, no, I was nervous, but I went in with an open mind. I knew I likely needed to end the relationship or at least pump the brakes, but that doesn't mean I went in guns blazing against her. I wasn't showing up in the way I needed to. We hadn't started planning the wedding yet, and I knew now that that would likely be much farther down the line than originally anticipated if things went well during our talk. I had a lot I needed to work through, and I didn't know if she would want to stay for that. She said she didn't realize how serious I was about being bisexual when I had already came out to her. She also said that made her look at me differently and apologize for that. To me, there's only one interpretation of that. I came out to her early on, but she didn't take my sexuality as fact until she saw me with a man, and now she looks at me differently. And despite just devoting a paragraph to that conversation, it was much longer than that in person. I asked her to elaborate, and she doubled down on what she said. She was apologizing to me for seeing me differently and asking me to share memories of my late fiancé to make this an easier pill to swallow. The pill to swallow wasn't my engagement, and it wasn't her lack of knowledge about it. The pill to swallow was very specifically the fact that she now saw me differently because I was in a serious long-term relationship with a man. There's so many more updates. Oh my god, I was ready to be done reading this because my throat hurts. I heard that people are giving him a bunch of shit in the comments, but if someone's being biphobic, he has the right to dislike that. They took this person's sexuality as a thing that could be dismissed, that doesn't exist, that's not a part of him, when it is. Sexuality, gender identity, all those things are a part of us. I am one who says that they shouldn't define us, but they are a part of us. I'm not gonna let my transness, my queerness define me as a person, but it is a part of me, and it's not an erasable part of me. Okay, basically he posted another update. August 25th, 2024, 8 days later. I wanted to thank everyone for the sudden influx of nice comments and messages. I woke up to quite a few notifications and saw that I have 80 followers here now. I'm probably not going to stick around on this account, so I'm not sure if all these followers are warranted, but I appreciate all the kind words all the same. I ended my relationship a week ago, and honestly, I've been enjoying single life. I was so terrified of living alone again, and I'm sure the loneliness will kick my ass at some point, but man, it's kind of really nice. I think my last relationship was an excuse for me to continue hiding from and suppressing my emotions / myself. I feel freer now, I feel more open, it's hard and painful, but I also feel like I'm remembering parts of myself that I lost or spent 4 years shoving into a box. I went out Friday night. That's something I haven't done since before my life changed so drastically. I steered clear from alcohol for a long time because I was really terrified of the possibility of self-medicating with it. Now I trust myself with moderation. I went out, had a few drinks, and danced with friends. I used to feel intense guilt for being happy. I wasn't rational and have outgrown that. Now I just wish he was here. I miss running back from the dance floor to where he was talking with friends. I miss having someone waiting for me. I miss acting like it was such a hassle to leave early upon his request to end. When really, I was looking forward to being home with my best friend. And yes, I miss the sex. I haven't had good sex in so long, it should be considered a national emergency. But yeah, single life is good so far. Thanks again for the compassion and understanding. Someone asked how his ex is taking the breakup, and what about his best friend who has been there for him. OP says, I have purposely avoided speaking about the breakup conversation here. I'm not interested in sharing the details. She does have friends and family in the area. She'll be fine. My friend is amazing and very special to me. I'm immensely grateful for him and all the friends in my life I truly trust. I would be doing both of us a major disservice by pursuing him romantically so soon after a failed relationship, where one of the lessons I learned, among many, is that I'm not ready yet. The thought of getting into another relationship makes my head feel cluttered. That's the best way I can describe it. Thinking about sharing my life with someone else in the way right now makes my brain turn on a no signal channel that's just plain static. Update 2, April 5th, 2025, 7 months later. A quick TLDR, my at the time fiance found out I was previously engaged to a man. She had a very negative reaction despite already knowing I was bisexual. I ultimately decided to end the engagement. I felt unsupported, distrustful of her, and I didn't want to be in a relationship with someone who discredited and disregarded my sexuality. It's been 7 months. It feels like a lifetime ago. I was still in such a fog back then. I'm not sure if this update is even allowed since the issue has technically already been resolved. The question was, am I the asshole for not telling her about my late partner's gender? And now that relationship is over. The conflict doesn't exist anymore. She and I haven't spoken, and I don't ever want to again. That entire relationship was a huge mistake from start to finish. I just want to drop in and say I'm seeing someone. We've been officially dating for about a month. He knew me from before my partner passed, and I feel like I'm slowly making progress in finding that person again. I spent a long time trying to emulate my late partner as a way of honoring him. I respect and love him so much, present tense, and I wanted to encapsulate the way he was. My boyfriend likes to remind me that he wouldn't want me to be him. He would want me to be me. That's been so helpful, along with lots of therapy. And the national emergency mentioned at the end of this post. Order has been restored, the troops can stand down, etc. Edit, I've received a ton of understanding and compassionate comments that helped me a lot after my story was posted on Best of Redditor Updates subreddit. It made me feel comfortable and hope that posting here again would be welcome to give people a conclusion to the journey. It also makes me feel less crazy since I was receiving a litany of ignorant comments regarding my sexuality. Unfortunately, this sub's primary response remains the same. I can't do biphobia round 3 again. It was rough enough the first 2 times. I'm not a glutton for punishment. Relevant comments. Someone asked him if his current partner knows about his late partner, and he says, yes, my current partner has known me and knew my late partner for a long time. He's the friend I mentioned in my first update. He fully understands the journey I've been on because he's been right there with me for most of it. Our relationship was platonic, but now has blossomed into something really beautiful and healing. Commenter says, wow, I'm not particularly woke, but some of these comments genuinely surprised me. Personally, it's much stranger for me that his ex never bothered to learn the gender of his former fiancé than it is that he had never considered important to bring up the gender to her. Weird. Anyway, I'm happy for OP, glad you're with someone who makes you happy and doesn't judge you for the gender of your previous partners. Wait, maybe I am woke. Oh no, that's a chilling thought. The fact that there's so much biphobia surprises me. It also doesn't surprise me because I posted on Reddit. Okay, this is the thing. I know I read Reddit stories all the time. I know that's a thing. But I posted on Reddit about wanting to train a service dog, and I got downvoted so much just for asking how to get my dog to be a service dog. The site is really harsh in my opinion. It's just not my cup of tea to post on very much, but it's a good site to read and see posts of other people, so I'm gonna continue to do that. Anyways, I think I'm so happy OP is with this new person. It's so sad that he lost his partner, his husband, I think he said? Yeah, his husband. And it's interesting to me how he said that his relationship with that last partner, the girl, was like a mistake from start to finish. Maybe he kind of knew from the beginning that there were signs of it not working out, but he didn't take them seriously because he wanted to be with someone, you know? If you get to the end of this, leave your favorite song in the comments below and I will check them out maybe. Also, life update, I'm writing a book now. It's interesting that this post had to do with death because the book is kind of adjacent to death. I'm gonna go. I will talk to you guys later. Goodbye.